Hello everybody, I think this is episode number 6, correct? Hope so. And everything is new in month May, alles neu macht der Mai. My haircut got new, a little bit too short for my taste. I went to the hairdresser and I asked, can you leave it a bit longer so I look like a proper rock star? And the hairdresser said, yes, sure, no problem. And guess what? The guy has a bald head and no hair. So it's kind of long for his standard, not for my standard. Anyway, it will grow and I'm feeling very comfy now for the warm summer to come here in Germany. Hey, thank you very much for voting the song. I won't forget from my, what is it, the Soul and Pepper album. And yeah, I want to have a question so you can win one of those. If you know who is the famous organ player on this record, who plays the Hammond B3 on this record, please write, and the first one will get one of these CDs sent to you at home. So the song, by the way, was called I Won't Forget and is one of those nice songs where I use a kind of tape delay. And in this episode, I thought the tape delay is such an elemental thing for my personal tone that I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing with it, why I do it, and what's the magic about tape delays in general. So for me, I'm using this Hughes-Kettner Replex here, which I designed with Hughes-Kettner back in last century, and it is supposed to be something like an Echoplex without using a real tape, but it's using a real tube. And you might be familiar with the EP booster. You know, there's the EP3 booster, and that comes from the Echoplex 3, but 3 means there's 2 more versions before 3, which is 2 and 1. And the version 1 was tube, and I think version 2 was also tube. For me, I found the magic about the tube tape delays in general. So maybe I show you what I do with this. First, this is on bypass, so my guitar goes into the Replex, and then from the Replex straight in the input of AMP1, which means this is old school in front of the AMP1. And this means even if I'm using the vintage channel overdrive, I use the Replex. So first, that's the sound with the reverb and a little post delay from the amp. This is just the reverb, and this is an extra delay. This is hardly not, actually, so here you see this is a little of that delay. It's just to make it a bit spacey room. So, but this is what I'm doing with the Replex. So, okay, it's kind of noisy. But if you compare this to the noise of the real tube delays, it's rather low noise. The magic for me is 2 things. One is the tube and the other one is the tape sound. Let's start first with the tube. I'm getting the tube sound with no delay. If I use this button here, it says reverb, and I just simply have no reverb from the Replex. So that's my bypass. So this reverb just brings in now the preamp stage of the Replex with the tube circuit. And what's happening here is it's kind of like a booster, and it has a warmer color, a warmer tone. So, and for me, it makes my thin strat sound even bigger. Yeah, and when I bring in the repeats from the delay, you can see, wow, this nice big wash. It's such a lush, big sound that I love. I mean, who needs a synthesizer if you have that sound, you know? So what happens with my volume control is I do my trick with having the volume very low for the kind of clean, and when I crank it I get the overdrive, but I get a lot of delay as well. So I have to be very careful with the amount of delay I'm getting from this. So here I kind of reduce this to half output and then I'm safe. And this way, it even sounds cool when I have yeah, a lot of gain, because what happens is I play and you can hear the dry signal, and when I stop, you will only hear the delay. I can now play. So, and once I stop, the delay will appear. So that's the beauty of tape delays. They kind of don't interfere too much with the guitar once they are not too loud, okay? So it's like instant ducking. Yeah, as you can hear, that's my kind of guitar hero setting when I use that. But here's a full history on the Echoplex. When we did the Replex, we had a really old, mint condition 60s EP1 Echoplex in the house that we had as a reference. And we should see a picture of that now. And of course, that's the ultimate reference for all the tape delays probably, and also for the Replex. Let me show you what we've got here. This is another great, let's see how we can set that thing up. Okay, plug in, switch on is here. Then next would be output. Yeah. And then, where is the guitar? Guitar goes into here. So this is as noisy as this fellow is. The noise gate in the AMP1 is not getting it totally quiet. So you can see how much gain I have. So maybe I go for lower gain settings here. Okay, but you can hear it sounds killer. You heard it many times how the machine works. Just to repeat it very simple is there's a magnetic tape. In this case, it's BASF from Ludwigshafen, Germany tape. They were famous for making tape for tape recorders and cassette recorders and them all. And it's a super simple principle. You have the preamp with a tube, which is kind of the same like in the Replex or very, very similar. Of course, this is the original design. And you have a few knobs to modify the whole thing. We can change the echo tone for warmer or brighter sound. And then there's a feedback control, I guess. Yeah. Great machine. We have a few parameters. This is to set the delay time. If I move the head closer to the recording head, the distance is smaller, so the delay time is smaller. And this is longer. So this is defined by the speed of the tape traveling. And there is a speed motor up control, so double time. This is supposed to have more hi-fi quality because there's more magnetic particles that will be used for hi-fi, but I think mostly I enjoy the low speeds more because they're more washed out. Yeah. Okay, that's the sound in front of the overdriven amp. If we go for this rockabilly stuff, you need a clean tone, more like that. Okay, a little bit too much echo, but I love it. Yeah, so you get a picture of the real deal tube tape delay. And this is the Fulltone ETC1, which is the version of kind of an Echoplex. Let me show you some other delays that I love. So switch this gentleman off. Use the knobs. Be nice. And move it over here. Next. Oh. Here comes my very old Dynachord. It's a dinosaur. And the secret weapon of this thing is, again, the tube preamp. So Dynachord, German brand. Yeah. Okay, real steel. You see, there's a bunch of tubes and the tape rolling. Let's see what we can do with this. It is the output here and the input. And now, no sound. Why? I'm sure I put it in the wrong order. Which one is, no, this is correct. Let's see if I have some, I have no hum, which means, yeah, something is bullshit. This must be here. Ah, okay, it's obviously. So I use a little less here. I have to turn the thing around so you see the beauty of it, because that's part of the magic. Look at the magic eye. Yeah, so there are a few functions how to use several combinations of the heads, like multi-heads, but you get the picture. And here is what happens with the preamp. Just that's one of the secret weapons from the 60s, is simply crank the preamp. Look what I've done. I'm on the clean channel and I'm on 5. That's all. No boost, no nothing. So all the gain is coming from my tube tape echo. Okay? The thing is, the preamps are at least 50% of the magic of those tape delays. And that's why a real tube tape delay is still a real tube tape delay. And you can get close, but you're not getting, I think the digital world is getting closer every day, but there's, hey, this amount of dirt, this amount of character, I haven't heard from any of the plugins yet. Yeah, okay, I have another one that I want to show you. There's another super weird thing with this one. Let me unplug this one. Okay, oh yes. This is how we like them. And heavy, and they used to be at least as expensive as a used car. Here's my tuner, just in case I'm getting out of tune. So here's my next baby. Look at this. That's a Vox Echo. And I had to buy it because it was super weird. When I plugged this thing in, the guitar sounded instantly nice, gentle, clean, and yeah, how to say, let's see how this sounds. Remote amplifier. So. The mechanical noise is already like a train. So, do we listen to anything? No. Why? Because wrong order again. Let's see if that works. Okay. Aha, no output. Okay, let me see what's going on here. Is this okay? I hope it will survive. So, this is the volume. That's the echo volume. Man, it's this thing, it's so hummy. Why do we have all this hum? Yeah, it's, well, that's the beauty of vintage gear. So this is the hello switch, hello. This is without the hello switch. This is without the repeat switch. Okay, anyway, so this is the Vox Echo. And there's something I noticed about that Echo. It changed my tone also with the preamp. Let's see how that sounds. Wait, this is the guitar straight into the amp. I use a setting. Let's check this one. Okay, that's the amp, and then this is supposed to be the echo. versus this. This sounds way more aggressive. See? Okay, it depends. If I play gentle, then it sounds sweet as well. But the other one, the preamp of the Vox, makes it sound so for me, as I said, there's a magic in all these tube preamps. Whatever they do, they compress, they change the color. It's already half of the character. And most of the pedals that you can buy don't give you that. And you could hear it's already different from the Echoplex to the Dynachord to the Vox. Okay, I switch off this noisy box here and then show you my beloved Replex again. Okay, tuner here. And no, I need this output cable here, and this goes here, and this should you can hear it's simply a character machine. The amp sounds killer, but a tape delay is what inspires me so much. And I wanted to share this kind of experience with you. And yeah, you can kind of simulate the whole thing if you don't have a real tube tape delay with some digital products, and maybe get a booster. You know, something like an EP3 booster, because what is the EP3 booster? It is the preamp circuitry of an Echoplex, which gives you already this kind of tape echo color. So this is something you can do if you are on a budget and don't want to spend 1,000 or whatever on a real deal tape delay. Just if you have the chance to play one, do it. Memorize the inspiration so you know what you're looking for. And this thing is on my pedal board, and you can see it's bigger than my amp, and I tried to get rid of it so many times, but when I do gigs I enjoy it so much. So you will see that. Gigs, talking about gigs, I have a gig now. Yeah. Corona, you know, was canceling all the gigs for my bands, and this Saturday, 30th of May, what is it, 8:15 German time, we do a live stream in Mainz. Mainz is close to Frankfurt area, and we play with my 3-piece power trio called Rockanarchie. We play classic rock tunes, hopefully having fun in a very big hall. The hall is usually used for concerts for 3,000 people. And they have the opportunity, or they are allowed to let 90 people in, sitting on tables. So we will perform in front of 90 people in a 3,000 in a 3,000 venue. Yeah, so this is going on this Saturday, and you can hear me playing live with the AMP1, with the Replex, and with two of my fellow musicians. One is Tommy Fisher, who also plays with Miller Anderson, and Miller Anderson is the guy who played Woodstock with the Keith Healy band, blah, blah, blah. And my other friends, Gully is a long-term friend of mine who I had a band with back in the 80s, last century, when we did Neue Deutsche Welle, you know, all this weird shit, da, 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 da. You know, where everybody tried to be as square as possible. And we had so much fun, and we met again 20 years later, and we thought, you know what, we should play the good old rock stuff again, which we now do and enjoy it very much. So if you have time to join in on Saturday for the live stream, feel free and check us out. By the way, we have a winner. The winner of the CD was the first one. What's his name again? Brad Becker. Well, it's correct. Thijs van Leer. Thijs van Leer. Thijs van Leer. A few words about Thijs van Leer. Can we see this here? The first guy, the big guy, is Thijs van Leer. He is a killer musician. He is the organ player and the flute player and the yodel guy in Focus. Maybe you are familiar with their hits. It's Hocus Pocus, you know, the... You know, and then yodel, unbelievable. And yeah, we had recorded this album in the studio and the Live in Raalte CD and DVD. And we played like for 10 years on a regular basis. Now he's busy with Focus and he's getting a bit older. And of course, we're still friends. If there's a big gig coming around, I can give him a call and we can do it. But yeah, I'm busy with my stuff, he's busy with his stuff. But check out Thijs van Leer, he's worth listening to. And the band Focus. Focus is a killer instrumental band. Their original guitar player was Jan Ackermann, and he is quite a character. I heard a lot of background stories, but I have to say his playing is killer. For the time when they were killing it, they had even a number 3 in the United States with Hocus Pocus. Yeah, the band is killer. And I played with the original lineup with Per van der Linden on drums on Thijs's, I think it was 60th birthday, and with his mother and all his children, a full, it was such a nice time. Yeah. Anyway, so this is now the CD. Okay, I think we do have a few questions here. David, who won the DVD. Last time he won the DVD. I just wanted to let you know that the DVD arrived. Okay, Blake, thanks. I'm currently enjoying tonight's live stream. You guys do such a great job with these. I'm so glad that you are talking about the AmpX. Okay, we will do more on the X, yes. I currently use Helix and GT1000, but I'm super interested in the AmpX, and I will send some questions for the future episode on this in the next few days. Yeah, we are collecting questions so I can get a picture of what is in your head, and I can share what's in my head, and then we can see if you get the insights that you want and if you are getting the information that you want. And one thing you have to know, AmpX is a super flexible platform for the next 10 years, I think. and it can do almost anything. So for me, the question is, which sounds do we start with? Which functionalities we have at the very first version that we ship, which will be a lot already, but I want to make, here's my story. I want basically to get all my beloved tape echoes and boosters and pedals and whatever is my collection in my X. So that's my job for the next 10 years. So, and of course my time is limited, and so is the rest of the team time also limited. So it will take some time, maybe years, to complete the full range, which you probably don't even need. But it's that's the beauty of the project. It's a long ongoing project, and it's a killer combination of analog technology with the nanotube and with digital technology that's super powerful, kind of the best out of both worlds. And I wanted to create a product that is not outdated in a year. It's like I buy it and then boom, 2 years later it's old shit. No, I want, I'm the analog guy that uses the best, simply the best from whatever is possible. And that's the platform we are working on. Okay, Martin again, Martin Chernoky. Please explain your secrets of when to use delay in the effects loop and when in front of the amp. Can you share some tips and tricks to create various sounds? Okay, I kind of done it, but just to give you the general idea very clear, is in the effects loop I'm using this X5 delay. So that's just a reverb, and that's this kind of delay. I can have the time longer. So this is just kind of making a room, a space, or whatever you call it, that makes you feel good. It shouldn't be prominent in your face or in a way that you think, I can hear the delay very much. Therefore I choose a analog delay. Yeah, new haircut, new strings. It takes a while till it's rock ready again. So when I play, you don't hear the delay, but when I stop, you can hear the delay. Okay, so that's the secret of the delay in the effects loop. And this delay has a warm tone. It has already, I can crank the volume. Can you hear that the guitar has the presence? It's all the shimmering from the strings, from my new strings. And when the delay is repeating it, it's not there. It's just anything below that shimmering. So, and of course I just have the level at the point where it's disappearing when I play. Okay, so now when I engage the Replex in front of the AMP1, I have the dramatic echo. So this is a setting with a lot of echo volume, but this is in front of the clean channel. That's kind of still normal, you know all that. So this is like oh, I could have another time. So what I've done now is I use the full drive to saturate my clean channel and have a little echo. Okay, that's another thing that I can do. Oh, I love this kind of things. And as you can hear, you get this rich full tone. Okay, I know David Gilmour did it with a compressor, but hey, that sounds cool too, so I don't mind. That's another way I do it. But mainly in live situations, what I do is, I don't have that much drive, I go for like unity gain, and I use the vintage channel, which is my favorite channel for everything. And then I can use the volume control on the guitar again. So, and now we are at this thing that I was doing at the beginning of this episode when I played my song. I have the volume control very low. So, a little bit too much feedback. So what I'm doing here is now I work the volume control. Okay, this is using the tape delay in front of overdriven sound. So this is like... what I'm doing in a live situation is I'm doing the tap dance on these, because this is like just a boost. This is like the long delay time for me. And sometimes I have just one note to stick out. Of course, now I can't do it, but I'll show you. Okay, yeah, so this is what I'm doing in front of the overdriven amp. There's many options, and I'm still fascinated with it. I play 3-piece bands most of the time, so there is all the room that I can fill, and it's so great to have an inspiration, because it's so great to kind of get inspired by the feedbacks and do weird shit. And of course, it's always good for something unexpected. Next question. I need to tune my guitar again. Today is guitar tuning day. That's the G string, yeah. You know, guys, you always ask me, why is your guitar stays in tune so well? Well, you see, it doesn't. After the gig, it will stay in tune. So I put on the new strings for the concert on Saturday. Any plans for an AMP1 in combo form? Yes, I do have plans, but this will take at least 2 years, 1.5 or whatever. Maybe you have seen in the first episode, I think it was our first episode, where I showed the AMP1 and the combo versions, prototypes that I've done so far. And I decided that a nano cap, which is like what we are using for our stand here, a nano cap and an AMP1 is kind of our combo for now. And to have a proper combo, I probably go all the way and do an open back design, like the American combo. But beware, this will be the American combo. It's not just an open back combo with something. I mean, if we do it right, and we do something spectacular. I got plans. Okay, yes, there will be a combo, but don't quote me on the date. 2 years, 1.5, you never know. Next question. The easy setup to get your incredible tone with AMP1 and delay, is it possible with AMP1 Iridium? Yes and no. I would say the Iridium is a killer amp, and it sounds a lot more defined when you use humbuckers. You have to know how to dial in a good tone with the Mercury Edition with humbuckers. I can show you. This is actually what I want to do afterwards. To show you some sounds with humbuckers as well. The thing is, if I play the Iridium, I need to go for the vintage channel, to be in my territory, to get this kind of overdrive characteristics that I like. And then I can do it, of course. Maybe I would do an episode where I try to be myself on an Iridium. Not today, but in the future. Okay, that's a deal. Let's try to that. I would say on the vintage and the classic channel, I can still do it, but I feel more comfortable with the Mercury Edition, as this is vintagier and woodier in a way, and not so fast and not so defined in a way. But there's a beauty in everything, and of course there's overlapping sound qualities of both versions. Okay, next question, how do you set up your AMP1 for home play? Is there any tablature to play along your backing tracks for? Yes. How do I set it up? Basically pretty similar to what I'm doing on a stage. I just have less master volume, and sometimes I use the EQing differently because I have a nano cap at home, and on stage I use a fat cap. So I probably have a little, I don't know, I just move the knob a number so it sounds right. So there's no secrets. Basically, I do my setup like I always do it. So there's no specific, a lot of gain because I do it on the volume control. You can see my tone stack, my 3-band tone control is kind of in the middle. Yeah. Rainer from Heidelberg. Hi Thomas, thank you for all your valuable infos. Thank you. I am very interested about the brand of your volume pot you use, also if it's a linear or logarithmic. I think it must be a really good quality. Thanks in advance. CTS is the pots that are used in Stratocasters traditionally, and I'm using those. You can measure the value of the pot, and of course they should be 250. 250 kilo ohms is something, when you get one out of the package, I have my meter to double check, and I can see values from 230 to 270 and whatever. And this affects the tone, because if it's less than 250, there is, it's kind of a warmer sound because it's dampening the pickups a bit. And sometimes it's great for pickups when you have a guitar that is too bright for you. And if you have a guitar that is not bright enough, you can go with a little bigger value like 270 or more than 250 or more than 230. It's worth experimenting. In the old days, I even had parallel resistors on one that was too high, like a mega ohm and stuff, just to check the sound. But I came to the point, get a CTS pot and make sure it is the kind of value that you want. One trick I do have it downstairs. I like it when it's super easy to turn, and the other ones should be not too easy to turn. So there is some greasy stuff in the pot, and I'm using what's it called, a spray, Vaseline spray. Yeah, the company is Contact Chemie, and this spray is great for two things. The spray kind of protects the contacts, and when you get the noise, which I usually have after a year anyhow, because I use this pot so heavily, it's kind of prolonging the lifespan of my pot, and it's reducing the kind of thing. Somebody found it downstairs. Here, advertising for Contact Chemie. Number 701. And this thing, yeah, I used also to get the tube sockets on my tube tape Echo back in order. When you get those out and then you, okay, is it plugged in? Hopefully, yes. You just, spray the sockets a bit, put the tubes back in. Wait, I'm a bit. and make sure that the corrosion will disappear. And this stuff, this kind of oil is also great when you spray this into your volume pot to make it turn easier. That's a personal taste. Some people hate Stratocasters because the pots is always in the way, and when they play it's like, oh, no volume. But that's the Strats, and for me that's perfect. For other people it's a nightmare. And if it's too fast for some people, it's a big problem. But if you want to be Yngwie Malmsteen, okay, now we can do. Okay, for this kind of bow effect. Next question, Mike P. Pinion, okay. If I were to buy the AMP1 from Germany, will it work in the US if you just change the power cord? Yes, it would work in the US as well. But why buy it in Germany if you can buy it in the US? In the US, yeah, we have some dealers, not as many as in Germany. The good thing about AMP1 is universal power. So just change the power cord, and this is so important by design. This socket is international, so you will find a matching power cord on this planet anywhere you go. And just the other side needs to have the right plug to put it in the wall socket so it actually works. And there are strange ones like the UK ones. They're such big things. They have even fuses inside. And then there are the tiny American ones which is like 3 pins and it works too. And in the US you have 110 volts, and in Australia I think it's 240. And since the long distance in Australia, sometimes they have 260 even, which kills real tube amps. But this thing does sound the same no matter where you go, because it's a switch mode power supply that provides the same voltage to the circuitry no matter what is on your power outlet. So next question. I must say I stopped using the Mesa Boogie Mark V since I have my AMP1. Okay, well, so convenient and flexible, right? And the Mesa Boogie Mark V is still a good amp. There's no worries about it. But this is, I mean, it's still unbelievable how light that thing is and works. Okay. Mr. Blug, I have a request if possible. One of my all-time favorite music pieces is You're Missing You Already. Okay, would you play this music in one of the episodes? Yeah, there are more episodes to come. And that's a very old track, which I actually like a lot. But let's put it that way. It's so long that I need to practice my own songs again. I think one day I will play that song. For the other guys that don't know the song, it's on my Live in Raalte album as well. And it's like a very nice ballad. And on the live version, there's a little bit where I get lost, and the drums, and wow, it's just what happens in the live moment where you think, man, this is what music is all about. So listen to the Live in Raalte on the, Missing You Already song. Okay, Carsten Funk. Well, Carsten Funk. Funk is a German name, but in English it would be funk. This man is funky. You mentioned using the fat cap for your stage sound and the BluBox signal for the main PA. Yes. Are you putting the BluBox to the fat cap setting as well? To have full control of what the audience will get, or do you dial in your favorite Marshall setting? I do dial in my favorite Marshall setting. I put it in these words. I designed the fat cap having my ideal sound in my head. And the ideal sound is very similar to the fat cap, but it's just bigger. And the fat cap has for me the same vibe and the same feel how I would play that cabinet than my favorite super fat Stack 1970. That's the fattest of all the 4x12 cabinets. So when I play that combination on stage, I have a killer tone, because I'm always getting the complaints you are already too loud. But for me, it's like, hey, this is my sound. And then the Stack 1970 on the PA system sounds so extremely huge, it's killer. And what wouldn't work is if I would put the BluBox on a setting like, Fender speaker, like the whatever Tweet 112, and then play with the fat cap on stage, because these cabinets are like two worlds, and this world will never make you play the right way, so it sounds a bit funny. For me, this combination is killer. I have the best for the PA and I have the best for stage. Everybody happy, even my band, because I'm not playing a 4x12 anymore, which kills them all at the volume that I want to listen to. Okay, so that's this question. Okay, next question. For a Black Sabbath tone, which amp is better, the Mercury or the Iridium? Wow, can you dial it? I think you can dial both amps towards that direction, and Black Sabbath is, let's put it that way. The black one has a bit more tightness, but I think Tony Iommi is not the tightest. I mean, he plays kind of this nice and dark music, but he could do it on both. So I would say both amps are suitable to play Black Sabbath sounds. You would use the proper humbucker guitar, which I actually should do, because we heard enough of that Strat again. And here we go. This is my gold top. Haven't seen that for a while. So, okay, get rid of the echo, because now we're going back to another sound territory. And if I play the Gibson, I simply go back to like 5 or 6 on the gain, and same thing for the clean. And I'm in Gibson territory already. I'm not changing the EQ, I just changed the gain. And the reason for that is, with a Strat, I need to load the preamps with more gain, with more, with a denser signal. But the humbuckers already have this kind of density, and I need a cleaner, a more defined sound. So if I reduce the gain, sounds good to me. If I go back to 10, where I was with the Strat, it's too muddy. It's simply, too much. yeah, classic channel and a humbucker guitar already does it. Of course, the Iridium can do similar things and will offer you more gain, which is not what Tony Iommi was doing. He had about this much gain. But hey, you can have an updated modern version with the Iridium. Or you use the vintage channel on the Iridium to get there. So it's possible on both ends. Next question. What's the reference amp for AMP1 Iridium Classic channel? Yeah, there are two reference amps. Okay. The Iridium. The Classic, on the one hand, is still a British hot-rodded Marshall. And then if you crank the, the tone all the way up, you get the German metal sound, I call it. And that's a tone that was actually kind of created. I get one of these. So this is, you see, this is one of those prototypes. We call them Null Serie. This is the stuff that I usually play. So if I dial in the classic tone clockwise all the way up, we have the German metal sound that was created by Erhan Mann from Frankfurt. And he is a famous Marshall tuner, and he plays in his own metal band. And I know the guy because I love technicians, so we talk and we met and we talk and we met. And then he showed me his amp, and I said, hey man, this sounds so killer. Is it possible that we work together to get your tone into this Iridium? And yeah, so this is here. This is on the one side, and on the other side, it is like, again, Marshall-y territory, but it's more more traditionally modded Marshall, maybe like a Jose mod, or stuff that Friedman would do, or that kind of direction. So, but there is the Erhan sound, we did an A/B on that, and it has that character. The other one is my version of something Plexi modded. Okay, Dominic Pöli. Hi Thomas, what's the reference amp? No, did I? The classic amp, I like the channel a lot. You get hair metal, shred, and Metallica, right? The lightning tone of that channel. Yeah, okay. Again, it's the classic channel. To be honest, the classic channel is killer. I discovered all of the channels, and I will show you in a minute. Thank you. I show you some other settings. Maybe you will discover some other channels for you too, like the vintage channel with extra boost. Compare that to the classic channel. There's some magic about that. That's a killer brown sound. I will show you in a minute. Next one, Robert Donzo Büchner. Sounds very German. Hallo Thomas. Eine German Frage. Ist der Iridium vielseitig einbar als Mercury? Ich liebe Overdrive und Distortion Pedals mit richtig viel Druck, aber auch andere Sounds, zum Beispiel mit Octaver, Mercury und Fatcap. That is a hard question. So he's asking, is Iridium more flexible than Mercury? Iridium, Mercury. He likes overdrive and distortion pedals. Let's put it that way. If you like pedals, both of these amps are great pedal platforms, and you will find a way for your pedals. I would choose Iridium or Mercury from the internal channels, and I wouldn't actually worry about the flexibility of the preamps. The clean preamp in both amps is so flexible. If your pedals do the tone, you will get a decent sound with any of these two. So I would listen to the internal overdrive and clean channels of both amps and then decide which one you like better. And always take your pedals with you. And if you have your holy grail pedal, connect it and see how it does work for you. But I know both clean channels are so flexible that you can make it work. Okay. Next question. Is there a digital or even analog recreation of an Echoplex that comes close? We had this. I heard Mick Taylor's at Guitar Show. Yeah, Mick Taylor. And it just seems to have je ne sais quoi that my digital delays don't. Yes, I kind of showed you at the beginning of this episode that there is a magic of the real deal tape stuff and the real tube stuff. And it adds another dimension to the whole thing that I haven't seen so far in digital products. This is the combination, the Replex, of an analog tube, preamp, and some digital delay parts. And I think that's a pretty good thing. So if you hear that, I can imagine a tape running. If your digital delay sounds as good as this, send me the information which one it is. I still believe this is one of the closest to the real deal. It's maybe there's another 5% here, but versus other stuff, I think this is pretty close. I'm forgetting about what I'm playing when I have this with me, but I'm used to that anyhow. Okay, next question. Brat Becker. Hi Thomas, what do you think is the Strymon Timeline or Capistan the best digital copy? Yes. And would you recommend all the originals are heavy, bulky and unaffordable? I wouldn't recommend all this original shit. Why? Because it's so noisy, it is it's so delicate, it's so hard to make them work, to maintain them, to hey, this is no fun. So I would recommend to work with a modern product like a Strymon, or maybe make a combination of a modern product and an analog drive pedal. This is what I got as the best solution out of the two worlds. And that's what I would play, but I would recommend also for you to try one out so you know the magic and you know what you're aiming at. That's the thing I try to tell you. If you have a buddy somewhere that has an old one, plug it in and see what's the magic and then work with something that works. Okay. Jonas Diemer. Hi Thomas. What do you think about the weight of a Strat? Does it matter? How do your 61 versus Blue Guitar versus vintage compare? Okay, the weight of Stratocasters, they all should be similar. It is 3 point, let me see, sometimes I write it on here. Do we have the camera somewhere? Can we see? Okay, so this has 3,380 grams, 3.38 kilograms. And that's about a healthy weight. If they are less weight, mostly I miss some of the foundation of the tone, and it's having too much overtones. If they're heavier, I don't like to wear them. Maybe they have great sustain, but it's not fun to play them anymore. So 3.5 is a good weight for me. And it is the same with all my guitars. It's like, it doesn't matter how much they cost, they should have that kind of weight. I mean, you get decent wood in all kind of price ranges, and it's older body what I like, and I like the stiffest neck you get. If the neck is too soft, I get no tone. So neck is the first priority, and then I'm searching for a body that has that kind of weight, and then we're talking. Yeah. Next question. If I set up Powersoak via MIDI, will AMP1 keep the setting after restart the unit? That is a good question. Actually, if you have, you can, okay, you set it with MIDI. Let me think about it. In the new software version of Iridium, what happens? Can we dial it in? I think we can dial it in. And if we can dial it in as the low power mode, then it will be memorized. Yes. Software, correct? Yeah, this is for Iridium. I was just double checking with our software engineer who is operating the camera in this corner, and who was losing the lens in last episode when he was trying to get close, you know. So that's not the case for Mercury. In Mercury we have a fixed value, so you have to send the value if you want to have anything that is not half power. Half power is memorized in the half power mode, and that's on tap, and this is in there. So, but that's the software for Iridium. Okay, next question. Where this guitar are made? The BluGuitar are made. The first ones were made at Trevor Wilkinson's place in the UK, and now they are made at Andreas Kloppmann's place in Bremen, Germany. So yeah, now they are German made. Using similar components, we have very special necks. As I told you just before, the necks need to be extra strong. They come from Japan, and that's very, very important. I tested so many necks, and if the neck is not right, anything is not right. So yeah, we have the same necks from the very first Blue guitars to the last ones, and but now they are finished, or they are made in Germany, with all the relicking and paint job and everything. Oh, that's the questions. When we have more things, where is the guitar made? Okay. Mr. Blue, can you get a Diezel VH4 channel 3 tone with your amp for Metallica? Yes. And Tool. I love Peter Diezel, and I love the VH4. And in the classic channel, you are pretty close. So, you know, when I first heard a Diezel coming out, I don't know, 15 years ago or how long this was, I thought, man, that's a good high gain amp. You know, it sounds warm, it sounds rich, it has so many overtones, and it's not too muddy, but it's not over-styled in any way. So I simply love it. And so I'm very inspired by this. And Peter Diezel is such a nice guy. I can highly recommend to check out his products as well. He's doing the real deal, old school tube amps. But I have to say, our classic channel is getting pretty close. Yeah. Next question is, are you using a treble bleed in your strats? Yes. And I think it was on episode number 2 or 3, I think it was 3, where I explained tons of details on Stratocasters, and this was also including the treble bleed. So please go back for episode, I think it was 3, and see all the esoteric details of volume control and treble bleed capacitors. I had it even switchable on the guitar. Maybe it was episode 3. Next question is, the Mercury Edition blinks 3 times when you switch it to low gain and once when it's switched back. Okay, my Mercury Edition does not blink when I do this every time. I can't hear if low gain is on or off. So we do have 2 software versions on the Mercury Edition that actually do both the same functionalities, but just the cosmetics of getting the 3 times blinking was not implemented by our fellow technician in the corner when we did the first version. You have to understand, we maxed out our processor in the AMP1 from the first version to the second version to Mercury. And we had to erase line by line of software code to be to be able to change anything. And of course, I always want the best, and I always want to have all the options. And I wanted to do this all just for me as a private kind of feature. But the thing is, we thought it's so useful, I can share it. I mean, my first idea was like, I have the AMP1 and it is like it is, you plug it in, it sounds killer, done. But some people go, maybe it's a bit too bright on this and that. And I thought, yeah, I can be your amp doctor and I can change this even without having a soldering iron, simply plugging in and a remote, changing the gain structure, store it to the amp and make some customer happy. So this was my idea. And then, and that's only for the guys that have the AMP1 standalone. If you have a remote one, and if you have the original one, you have the same effect on the gain with the remote. But to have it kind of self-contained with the Mercury, we had to change the software. But the software was full, 100%, 101%. So, you know, we worked on it, and then we had this thing, and then in the next revision we had a little more lines so we could add another blinking, you know, but it was a tough job. Don't worry, the sound is exactly the same on both versions, software versions. So it will simply not blink 3 times, but it's doing exactly the same. That's all I can say. And if you don't know if you are in full power version or half power version, you can simply plug in a headphones on the recording out with no speaker, and then crank the master volume so it's not getting too loud. And then you will have, when you go higher than 6 or 7, you can feel the zag of 50 watts. It's kind of getting muddier. So, and then you know this is the 50 watts. And when you go back for the full 100 watts, you will feel there's more it's tighter. So that's the trick. Next question. Oh man, we have so many questions. Do you recommend a real cab or speaker to enjoy the different BluBox cab simulations? No, you don't need anything. You just have a cab. If you the cab, I explained that, I think it was in last episode, gives you the impedance, which is this kind of current feedback from the power amp, works with the impedance of the speaker. If you can afford to connect a real cabinet load to the BluBox, you get an extra 3% of aliveness factor, but you don't need it. I showed it in the other episode. Please go back. Oh yeah. Next question. Mr. Blug, could you play some heavy stuff, palm mutes, drop D please? Yes, I can do, but let's see. Drop D, palm mutes on this amp or on the Iridium. We do have a guest coming in that is the specialist for this, but I will do my thing. I do palm mutes on this guitar and I do drop D and hello. We have a guest here, Manni.
Hello.
Manni is the expert when it comes to the heavy stuff. Manni Zewe plays in a band called Godslave, and you know, I'm not the kind of metal guy, but the funny thing is, I was looking for somebody that really understands this kind of playing technology and likes that kind of sounds, because you know, I simply suck at doing that. And
here it is.
Yeah, okay, just give me one riff so you know this is the real deal. So this is proper metal. And what happened was I was looking here in the local scene, and we are from the Saarland, which is close to the French border. So it's kind of like Asterix.
Yeah, kind of.
And then I asked, where is your rehearsal room and stuff? And it is like so funny because my friend I'm playing with on Saturday, his rehearsal room is like next door. So I've been at your place kind of already 10 times without knowing you.
Without knowing, yes.
Yeah. So for me, the biggest question I always had is like, I get confused about metal, because there is thrash metal, there is heavy metal, there is doom metal, dark metal, whatever. Can you explain a little bit about the genre of metal and how the whole thing came along?
The whole thing came along. The thing with heavy metal, it has its roots back in rock and roll.
Right.
And then kind of emerged as an, I don't know, attempt to set something on top of hard rock and punk. And
be harder and more brutal and in a way. So what is all these subgenres doing? I mean, it's like, what is thrash metal? What is the emotion in thrash metal versus doom metal? Or stoner metal? Or what?
How much time do we have? Because there's so many different subgenres, and if you go out and found a band, you can use the different categorizations to explain the sound of your particular band to engage listeners, basically. So a friend of mine plays in a melodic, progressive, symphonic power metal band. And
okay.
It's things like this happen if you, so you get a musical basis of let's say, power metal and progressive metal.
Progressive rock
but you
metal.
have female fronted, which comes in, then the guitar player plays in the style of Yngwie Malmsteen or something, and there's the neoclassical
approach to that. Okay, it's like a pizza, and then by naming all the ingredients, you can define the genre.
Nowadays you can. Actually, with the thrash metal developed from the new wave of British heavy metal, which merged with the punk scene, hardcore punk, back in the early 80s. By bands like, inspired by bands like Venom, Motorhead, and then Iron Maiden. Those were the ingredients. Then you had bands like Metallica, Slayer, who took this and played it on faster, with more gain, with more aggression, and then after that you had the death metal, which developed from the thrash metal, or alongside. It's kind of branched off in different directions in the 80s, and that's where you have the thousands of genres now. It all goes back to the basic aesthetic of, okay, let's play really hard rock. May it be melodic. If you don't like it melodic, go more for growling vocals or something. It's the basic concept is not the concept, but the emotion. I don't know if you call it an emotion. It's more like an energy. That's the one thing that connects all the metal genres, I would say.
What I find so funny is when I listen to metal music, I always thought, you know, these guys are really deep, dark, heavy characters. And then, you know, you open the door to a rehearsal room, and they are sweet people. They have a good mood. It's fun. It's actually really fun, you know. I had an experience when I was playing in the UK with opening for Saxon, and you know, I'm the vintage guy. I do my classic rock stuff, but then I saw the party aspect of rock and metal music in a way, and that was kind of cool because I can see that in the metal again. I mean, metal can be party, and being an outsider for me is like metal. I was frightened. It's like, okay, these guys, they have knives and weapons, but they are nice people having a good time.
It's a part of the culture, actually. It's like with the hip-hop, basically. You've got an underground culture accompanying the music and the art. So this is where you come together at festivals, you drink
beer,
lots of beer.
Sure.
And you go visit concerts when you have party. You have a good time, and that's about it. That's the spirit of Godslave. You know, because we wanted to go out and entertain. You know, there's lots of bands, lots of thrash metal bands in particular. There's always the political side or the social critical side. So you can latch onto that. You can go and do as everyone does and say, fuck the fuck the government and all the stuff. Or you can. We decided, okay, no, we want to make party. We want to have a good time.
A positive.
You can
vibe.
If you visit a Godslave show, there's no like political agenda or something. There's just, okay, we're here. We're in the green zone now. We
have
party
good time in that moment,
and that's what counts.
I've been to your rehearsal room and into the studio, and I can tell you, they have a good atmosphere. So you know, I'm kind of I have an antenna if I'm somewhere weird, or if I can feel safe and there's no, hey, you are totally safe with these guys. So what's the secret about a metal tone, or about, you know, when this new music evolves and everything is getting harder, the tone of the amp changes too. So, you know, I noticed you have to have a tight attack. You have to play faster riffs, which I can't actually. Maybe you can do one of these galloping things, which is, you know,
But the sound depends on the genre again, on the subgenre, because you have things like doom metal, where you basically go for a very high gain sound, but kind of muddy, extremely dark and extremely deep.
Yeah.
It's like dial in a doom metal sound, I'd probably do it something like
more bass,
something like this, or something a bit scooped. With doom metal, you want to go as less is more.
Yeah. I can hear some, I kind of can hear some Aussie in that, I mean,
that's
what was it, War Pigs or any of these old songs? I mean, I'm the vintage guy here. Maybe that's this kind of direction started.
Yeah, you oftentimes have genres which don't as much differentiate in the musical side, but in the lyrical themes.
Ah, okay.
So that's like where doom
is dark.
Metal is about, personal failure, death in general. Then you have, I don't know, comparable to doom metal. There's certain genres kind of overlap in some points.
Right.
You have the, I don't know, where to pinpoint stoner metal exactly. It's kind of.
Are they smoking? Are they smoking pot?
Yeah, for sure.
Do all metal players smoke pot?
I wouldn't say that, but.
I know that all reggae guys do smoke pot. I've been there. I've been to Jamaica and I had a good ball, and I forgot where I was. So anyway, and I'm still alive. It's not that dangerous.
No, you every now and then you see some. It's a festival. You have to have fun. Sure. Okay, so.
Okay. What are so you brought your own pedal board. It's down there. Doesn't matter. And it's basically the Iridium. And you have a delay?
A delay.
And a compressor?
Yes, the compressor. I only use the compression. Basically,
I simply...
on and off for playing around with the clean channel.
My good Les Paul will die, but...
Can I hold something?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I show you, this is Manni's pedal board. And yeah.
Basically, it's just the Iridium Edition...
a tuner,
a polytune.
Yeah,
it's a stage board. It's got less is more. The less things between my hands and the amp, as Matt Heavy of Thurium always says, the better. The only thing fancy here is the flashback 2 in the effects loop for the solo section.
Right.
That's basically it. Yeah. The classic channel is the solo sound.
Okay.
A little bit louder than the regular. The modern channel for the rhythm sound.
So you use the modern for the rhythm, and you use the classic for the solo.
Yes.
And you use the preset mode. So this is like your clean sound. Yeah. This is like your rhythm sound, and this is like your solo sound.
Yeah, neat and simple.
Yeah. Well, okay. And I mean, this is basically all you need. When I do my own stuff, I do have a big pedal board, but when I played my song, I played only one channel, and I do the rest. Less is more sometimes. And what I find interesting is that you have the preset mode used in a way that this is no effects loop, so no delay, and on the lead tone,
actually I do have delay on the cleans.
Ah, you do have? Ah, okay, sorry. Okay, so here is effect loop is on, effect loop off for the rhythm sound, and for the lead, again it's on. So this is what I wanted to point out is it is possible to memorize not only the channels and the boost and the reverb and that stuff with the presets. You can also memorize if the effects loop is on and off for the 3 internal foot switch presets. And one set you forget. I think you build your pedal boards, you dial it in, and then you switch on, off, and that's it.
It just stays there and it's nice and convenient.
Yeah, cool. I think we should check a few sounds. I mean, is there anything? Yeah, let's hear what you're doing on clean.
Clean, it's just basically clean sound.
Okay, sounds
basically it.
Yeah. And then when we go for the next channel here, which is the rhythm sound.
Rhythm sound.
On modern channel. Okay, and then there is the classic channel for the Cool. Okay, I think it can be easy as that.
If I do have more options, I tend to fiddle around with shit, and that's
not good for the music.
Never a good thing on stage, because we usually have slots for like 40 to 60 minutes.
Right.
And every second you lose is paid in tears.
Yeah. I know. I mean, in a live situation, it's about to entertain the audience. That's your job. And if you stay, or if you are busy with setting up the gear for too long, hey, it's not professional. You know, so this is nobody wants to see a technical problem on a festival.
That's part of the reason I reached out for you when I got the chance, because we were hauling around the big angle amps and Bernie's PV6505 Plus, which is a pain in the ass to carry because it weighs like
a ton
or two.
Yeah,
and it's like 21, 22 kilos or something, and if you always have to haul the thing around. And now then the thing has the tubes in it, and you can't really bump it anywhere. And we're driving with our own bus everywhere. No, just asking for problems to occur, which the Iridium just eliminates that, because you just put it in the backpack.
Yeah,
flip it up.
Yeah, I think we spent so much time already. I have prepared another thing, and I think we have to go into this deeper in the next episode. But let me talk a little bit about what's going on. I mean, I thought of how can we get people an easy access to the AMP1, and I've done this for like both amps, for the Mercury and for the Iridium. And for the Mercury, I've done it for single coil players, and I've done it for the humbucker players. And this is all part of something we will see in the music stores pretty soon. It's a test station, and that's using also a new cabinet, which is a limited production run of 50 cabinets that I designed for the metal guys. It's a 2x12. It looks the same like our standard ones. You have one of those. I'm not sure if you have the new one or the old one. Is it a Mark II or is it a Mark I?
I actually can't tell you.
Okay,
I don't know.
Doesn't matter. So we have to find out about this cabinet. So, but here's my idea. The idea is we have the two amps, the silver one and the black one, and we bring this with like a plexiglass panel. And with this kind of overlays, these will shrink, and the white stuff will have holes in it. So one day, in the near future, this will fit on your amp, and then you can simply dial in sounds that are very famous. I mean, ZZ Flop.
Speak for itself.
Yeah, or Texas is a Stevie. There's some, and Clean. On the side is a little comment for Country Clean. So, I mean, we can all guess what that is. And here's the next one, Blues Rock Set. I made every set like with 4 channels, that all 4 channels can be used with just this one setting. So you go through the channels and you have 4 sounds. So there's a Gary Moore, and there's a rock and a blues, and the clean sound, which is a standard. 4 single coils, and here's your custom control settings. And then I've done similar things for humbuckers. There's a Scorpion, well, and an Angus and a Malcolm. We all know what that could mean. and it states that the boost is off on this one. And there's, as hard as it gets with the Zewe one, the heavy metal, and there's a Randy Rhoads and the Eddie inhaling, and the Zeppelin is flying somewhere to experience. And then we have settings for the Iridium Edition. There is one that is kind of for different genres. There is a metal, and there is a solo, and there is a rock settings. I mean, it's funny. It's your solo tone, maybe, or some solo tone. Yeah. There's a classic. There's a thrash metal, which is probably inspired by you, and there's a brown sound, which is yeah. And there's a bleed sound, which is inspired by something.
What would it be?
Yeah. And here's you know, the Germanic sound that I think is a bit like I told before, inspired by my friend from Frankfurt. So I think this is now too much for this episode. I would rather go and do my stuff in the next episode. But maybe we can hear some sounds with you doing this on that amp really quick.
Sure.
I will simply set, oops, my microphone. I will simply set it back to the normal mode, and then we can easily access the settings. Yes. So, okay, that's standard mode. Okay, you know what? I'm getting rid of a Les Paul. Too heavy for me. Yeah. And do you remember one of those that you like?
If I just had the email, you know.
This is how it looks now. Yeah, I gave you some numbers.
Yeah, I think the classic was
classic metal.
Pretty neat with the thrash sounds.
Okay, so I tried to dial it in as it shows here: 6, 8.5, 5, 6. This is already like yours. It's not much different. 7 and 5.5. You have to know these settings I have double checked on this particular cabinet. Now check the custom control.
Boost is on?
The boost is off. So, and the boost here is about a tiny bit of that. And then we have the volume up here. Well, volume doesn't matter for now so much. I just go ahead. The tone is more important.
Do we start with the thrash?
Wherever you want. I just do all the settings, and then we can simply switch and see if it sounds any good. Tone here, and clean was also middle, and this was the middle. Okay, yeah, just see what.
It's pretty close to
yeah
Eddie's thrash. That's cool.
We are using the BluBox here at the moment, and we are using the stack 1967, which is it's a cool old Marshall cabinet, but it works. It works. So let's see what the solo makes.
Works.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a bit more reverb just for fun. Okay. And now we go for the brown, which is Eddie Van Halen territory.
I can say.
Let me check it with my Les Paul just for a sec, because I'm curious to see how much the guitar sounds different. So if I'm not a Chuck guy, you can tell. But hey,
problem.
So this was just a different guitar with the same.
This one has a rather brutal pickup in it.
Oh yeah.
It's a bare knuckle juggernaut, I think.
Okay.
It just rips for days.
yeah. I can tell. Yeah, cool. But see, this is how we have designed all these settings, and of course we can go and have the clean just for fun. Oh, what's the boost engaged? I don't know. Can you play something? If you play the clean, is this now the humbucker in split mode, or is this?
No, it's actually the humbucker in
full
humbucking mode, yes.
In the full. Okay. There's one thing, when I designed this channel, I tried to get, this hardness away from the clean channel. I tried to make it more acoustic. I tried to have a bit more hi-fi, because you need a chuck and the mids to trigger the distortion, so to speak. But when you play clean, it's like not too much, and therefore I try to make the sound wider a bit. And yeah, I think you can hear that. Yeah, nice. Cool.
Sounds like ass.
Cool. Yeah, I would say we will do some more in the future. And what is? Let me check this. The bleed. I'm curious. What about the bleed? There is no bass.
No bass.
It's very little bass. I mean 6.5. Okay, mids are there. Wow, and the treble on 10. Okay, I'm scared. Okay, but let's see. And the bleed is the modern, and the modern tone is all the way up. So you are the expert.
That's a pretty tight modern metal tone.
Yeah, but for me, it's strange to have the treble all the way up on 10, but it's possible, So.
adds a certain percussive.
Yeah, so it's fast and it
to
has,
it, yes.
yeah. So the idea behind this is maybe you are afraid of having settings like this. I put a treble on 10 and you go like, I would never dare to do that. No, it's possible and it actually sounds cool. So this will be in some stores in the future, and you can also download it now from our stream. I think we have made the same graphics here. Simply to try out different stuff that you would usually never dare to try out, and get inspired, and maybe you find a new tone for you, you know?
Yeah, well, these are pretty close from what I heard. If you don't consider yourself an expert in 80s metal, but the settings were actually pretty
useful.
Pretty useful. Yes, you definitely go into the ballpark you need
Right.
to be to get a good suitable sound with a little tweaking. But
Yeah.
the 80s thrash sound, for
Was
example,
was already
I could totally go on
yeah.
stage with that and use it.
Cool. Yeah, and of course you have, everybody has a slightly different guitar. You have to readjust the gain a bit, and
And technique.
is also doing. But hey, it's cool to have a good starting point, and this is what this is all about. Well, let's do it that way. If you do have more tones and sounds you want to hear, please write us some emails at the youtube@bluguitar.com. Then we can prepare and we can show you how it's done with our amps or with whatever. If I have a bunch of equipment and I'm well connected with people like Manni, and I'm pretty sure that out of the 2 amps we can get almost anything that I can think of. And let us know which sounds you want to hear from us. And yeah, and thank you for sharing your thoughts in this community. So we will have on the YouTube channel, you can vote for stuff. And hey, it's been great for us to give you information, and I think it's again, how many hours did we talk? Too many. I'm getting hungry. And it's a real big pleasure to have Manni Zewe from Godslave here with me, and you know, we might see each other in the future because we are local buddies. And thanks for joining in. We have already done the CD, and of course there's more CDs on the web store, BluGuitar. And on Saturday I do my first live gig for months. You've done one recently, yeah?
Yeah, we've done a
streaming.
live streaming concert in the Studio 30.
How many people were in the room?
Like, except for the band, 2 people for the
Technic.
For the technique. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. We will play in a venue that holds 3,000 people usually, and they allowed 90 people to come in, and it is. I expect the reverb to be as long as for days, you know. But yeah,
Could be fun though.
it could be fun. So tune in for Saturday 30s. You find some links somewhere. Hey, been a big pleasure having Manni.
Thanks for having me.
Take care. See you next week. Bye bye. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen.